What does spirit mean to you, Mac?
So, I suppose like many people, I would have been raised in a way that somehow had spirit separate from everyday life. It was either restricted to Sundays, or it was times when, as a little child, and I used to pray by my bed, and that is all wonderful. But in living as a child playing, I realise now that I experience spirit outside in the garden playing, in the trees that I climbed, in the rivers that I swam in the forests that I was running through with my bow and arrow, and so the spirit as I wished to discover, which I intuitively felt was so, is in every breath of every day. It's the normality and ordinariness of my daily existence. So I feel in children, in the sound of their playing, their arguments and their laughter, their squabbles and their, whatever it is, just all of that, in the rhythm of the sound of a hoe or something as the gardener moves through the garden, harvesting or planting or something, in the bird song, in even the thrum of traffic, the sort of the business and ordinariness, the sounds of the kitchen, the water splashing from a tap when we're washing our face or something, food, water, sunlight, darkness, like everything ordinary. Why this concept of immanence means so much to me, of not transcendence, where somehow everything is up there, but immanence, where it is present in everything of life, is for me spirit. Does that? So the fire, it's like in some of what I was taught and then later experienced, that light it exists in the darkest of places, and in the lightest of places dark exists. That everything contains this potent energy that we call spirit, streaming and flowing through it in such powerful and beautiful and extraordinary way. But it's no, not by accident, if you like, that fire is seen by the people that taught me as being the physical embodiment of spirit. So it is warm and comforting and cooks our food, and it is terrifying and frightening, and it's everything, isn't it? It's like, it's both the sunrises and the sunsets, and it's dying of thirst in the desert, as it were. It's the worst, one of the worst deaths, I imagine, being burning, and yet it is light, and the coming of light after a long dark night, and the relief and the joy that brings, and then colour infuses again, and it's just, so spirit for me is wrapped in everything ordinary, which is very important for me, because I somehow had moved it always to the extraordinary. Nowadays it seems to me everybody wants to be a shaman. It's ridiculous. No idea what that means. No one in their right mind would wish to be a shaman. It's to live in this sort of in this terrifying void between one place and another. It's not an easy life, sort of thing. So, or we imagine spiritual and spirit to be this disembodied kind of human being that has no interest in sex, food, living, children, school runs, all this. It's not who I wish to be, you know. And I find it most joyful when it's wrapped into the ordinary business of living, accessible to all, actually a fire within all of us. And because I don't want to be, what's the word? I have no interest really in being perfect, you know, not least because it seems impossible, but to be whole, to be a whole person who, you know, who will read my little child a story before he goes to bed and know that that is as powerfully magical and important a moment as when I'm then in my work with whoever it is that I'm meeting. Does this,
Yes,
you know,
to be completely
to be,
where you are.
Yeah, and that feels so wonderful. And
well, there's a restfulness in it, and I do love how you described it. It's like a dance of being safe and being dangerous. So
yes,
life has got this marvellous weave.
yes,
And you know, in New Zealand we often speak about somebody that's got a strong spirit, or even a spirited animals. And I read a quote this morning: "You'll find this with a spirit like a rock that bends to no wind." And so it's almost as if it's a part of us that we develop. Is it? Do you feel, or is it something that you're naturally born with?
I'm sure without spirit it would be, you know, then I think there is no life. So I think there's always spirit. Well, and I mean, it was shared with me a long time ago by my indigenous teachers that when that we are essence, and then we are born and we take shape. And that essence then reveals itself in who we are, which is not to say, of course, rather crass idea that if you're born beautiful, that you are beautiful, you know, physically beautiful. If you're born physically ugly, you are ugly, sort of thing. But the essence of who you are manifests itself and it becomes embodied. And that this great gift which creation gives us during our human lifetimes of choice. So then during our lives we make choices. And of course some of us are born with enormous landscapes of choice, and some of us are born in intensely constricted, often highly intensely challenging lives, where that bandwidth, if you like, is a great deal less, because that's just how it is. But we have choice, and the sum of those choices, we can change essence, so that when we die we become essence again. Well, the essence then has been transformed through the multiple of choices that we made through that life, and once as essence again we can't change. That's a fixed place.
So you need the body to experience the essence.
That's right, and it's the, you know, I mean, with all these things, I don't particularly get attached. Do I believe this or not? I love the idea of it, and it encourages me towards the idea that, you know, these choices that I make, both tiny, hidden, visible, big, matter, because they construct and shift and alter. They shave and sandpaper and curve the human that I am.
It's like a work of art in motion.
Well, yes, a work of art, or at least a handicrafted